We've all had that moment in a movie theater. You're watching an intense car chase. The hero's door gets ripped off, and then in the very next shot, the car is suddenly fixed. It instantly pulls you out of the story. When we spot an error like that, we usually blame lazy writing, and many people approach ancient texts, like the Bible, with that same skepticism. Consider the death of Judas. The book of Matthew says that after betraying Jesus, Judas went away and hanged himself. But the book of Acts offers a different account. It says Judas fell headfirst in a field and his body burst open. It is difficult to reconcile those two descriptions. It looks like the ancient writers simply weren't on the same page. Ancient manuscripts don't follow the same rules as modern novels. To understand what's actually happening, we have to look past the surface and use biology, language, and history to find the missing pieces. If we look at the biology of the Judas account, the environment matters. This took place in the Valley of Hinnom, an area known for intense, rocky heat. Matthew's report focuses on the first day of the timeline, the immediate tragedy of the hanging itself. There is a gap in time here. In this climate, a body sitting in a remote valley could remain undiscovered for several days. Heat accelerates decomposition, causing a body to swell. At the same time, an ancient hemp rope frays and weakens under constant tension and exposure. The account in Acts picks up the story days later. It records the physical result. The rope eventually snaps, the body falls, and the scene is discovered by passersby. One writer describes the cause of death, the other shows the physical aftermath. When seen as a sequence, the records fit together. Next, take a verse where the character Jacob appears to take livestock from his uncle. Some English translations use words like plunder or steal. This creates an immediate problem. It makes it look like the text is encouraging someone to commit a crime. Modern translations often strip away the nuance of the original language. It's easy to lose the intended meaning when words are moved from one culture to another. The original Hebrew text uses a specific vocabulary that clarifies the situation. The word used here is natsal. It refers to rescuing something or recovering a stolen right. It's the act of returning property to rightful owner. Jacob had worked for his uncle for 20 years, and his wages had been repeatedly withheld. The text is describing Jacob recovering the earnings he was already owed. Finally, look at the story of Joseph. He is a hero known for avoiding magic. Yet the text says he owned a divination cup used to predict the future. To understand this, we have to look at the environment of ancient Egypt. Joseph was a high-ranking official in a society that relied heavily on symbols and omens. In this culture, rulers held specific, ornate objects to signal their rank to outsiders. An object like this carved alabaster chalice was a standard part of an official's appearance. The cup served as a badge of office. It was a cultural uniform that signaled his status to the Egyptians around him, rather than a tool he actually used for magic. Understanding the local customs changes the meaning of the scene. When we see the artifact through their eyes, the conflict disappears. Each of these apparent errors comes from looking at complex events through a single, flat lens. When the medical, linguistic, and historical details are brought together, the separate accounts snap into a single, cohesive picture. Different writers act like different camera angles, capturing one side of a three-dimensional event, which looks contradictory if you only see one frame. If we treat a thousands-of-year-old text like a quick social media post, we will always miss the depth of what was actually recorded. Whenever a historical account seems to clash with itself, it's worth digging deeper. The truth is usually waiting just behind the context.